Hey folks, this is Sandy's Guitars. I am Sandy Ridge, and yeah, I've got an interesting one that I want to talk about today. So as you can see, I have an acoustic bass. Now, this is a relatively affordable one. This is one from Denver, which is a brand that's very commonly sold at Long & McQuaid. Brand new. This one's, I think it was like $420 or something. I did get it used, but I picked it up, and it's my first time owning one of these. And I thought I would kind of talk about some of the pros and cons that are with this type of instrument, because this is a little bit unusual. Now, I'm not going to go too much into like a review of this actual guitar, but like for what it's worth, it's fine. I mean, it's a budget instrument, there's no question. But, I mean, everything works as it should. I also got it used, so it's a little bit difficult to kind of judge, some of the things. But the craftsmanship it's what you'd expect for $450, So, like, this isn't a bad bass by any stretch, but there's a lot to talk about here because I think people have a lot of misconceptions about these instruments. So it's not great for slap, but at least I can't get a decent slap tone. Maybe someone else can. Let me know in the comments. Before we get started, please click the subscribe button if you like what we're doing here. Trying to make the channel grow a little bit. Share the video. Leave a comment if you like. But yeah, let's get into this. So let's talk about what this bass is for. Okay? I don't think that this bass, for most bass players, is going to be your main instrument. You know what? I'm going to take that back. Don't let any YouTuber, like, I'm just a guy who plays in a basement. Don't let some guy you don't even know tell you what you want to play. If you want to make an acoustic bass your main bass, have at it. Heck, if you want to play a BC Rich guitar in country music, why not? Have at it, okay? That said, I do think for the vast majority of players out there, this is not going to be their main instrument. So, let's do some pros and cons of these acoustic basses. All right, so pro. Let's start with a pro first. They definitely have a unique sound. And there's no way to get that sound without a big acoustic bass. I'm not the greatest bass player, but there you go. They do have a very unique sound. It's got to be said. A con. That sound isn't the most versatile sound in the world. Okay, you could probably say the same thing about a precision bass, because it really only has that one pickup. It's the volume and the tone knob. But I don't know, the P bass, there's something about that sound that just fits in the mix really well. This, on the other hand, you're only going to use this for some very specific styles of music. Con. If you like to play slap bass, which I'll be honest, I'm not the greatest at, there's a lot better options out there. This is probably not going to be what you want to go for. Okay, that's definitely a con. Kind of goes with the versatility part too. A pro. A lot of people probably look at this and they think like, okay, it's kind of handy to have an instrument. A bass player is going to look at it saying, oh, there's an instrument that I can keep beside the couch. If I get an idea in my head randomly, I can grab it and play around with it. And yeah, they're right. I mean, you can do that with this. Okay. Unplugged, it's loud enough for you to hear it. But a con, it's not going to be loud enough to you can't really, it's not going to compete with an acoustic guitar. It's not like an acoustic guitar. You can't really keep up with it. It's going to get lost. So I think some people have this idea with these that, you know, you could go like the classic image of playing around a campfire or something. Somebody pulls out an acoustic guitar. I'm a bass player, so I can pull out my acoustic bass. I've never seen that happen. I mean, yeah, I've been playing guitar. I've been in the music world for over 15 years now. I've never seen that happen ever. Most people, if they are doing like an acoustic jam night, they still bring their electric bass. It's just a fact. Because if you're gonna play live, you gotta plug it in. And I mean, I started kind of research. I did a fair bit of research on these. I've had this for probably about 2 weeks now. And I did a fair bit of research on acoustic basses. And they all seem to accept that. Like this one does have electronics. That's what you're hearing right now. And they do sound pretty good. I'm straight into the mixer, into the camera. Like it's just straight. All right. And they do have some onboard controls. Personally, I just like the way it's set up right now. Another con, I guess, I think people, well, it's not really a con, but people go into this thinking like, oh, okay, I can get one of these acoustic basses and it's going to sound like one of the big upright basses. That's not the case. It sort of sounds, I mean, you can be the judge. But to me, it sort of sounds somewhere in between an electric bass and the big upright bass. Maybe that's just me. Or maybe it just sounds, God, this is going to sound really corny, but it sort of sounds like an electric bass, just a little bit woodier. That just sounds terrible, but yeah. It is fun just to mess around with. Let's see, other pros with this. They're actually pretty affordable. So I went on Long McQuade, and for those that don't know who aren't in Canada, Long McQuade is basically our Guitar Center. It's probably the biggest guitar chain in Canada. If I'm wrong about that, let me know, but I'm pretty sure I'm accurate. So I went on there, and these are actually pretty affordable. Like I said, this one, brand new, is $420 Canadian. They had a couple of them. I think most of them were right around the $1,000 mark, which in Canada, like $1,000, like that's pretty well nowadays. That's a starter guitar. Speaking of which, I'm going to do a video on that. We should talk about that some more. I think prices are getting a little ridiculous. But yeah, so $1,000 is probably pretty standard nowadays. Like that's a Mexican Stratocaster, Mexican Fender, okay, or a lower end Gretsch, like a Gretsch Electromatic or an Epiphone. Most of them, they kind of went from like $500 up to about $1,000. There was one acoustic bass that was over two grand. I mean, it was a Martin. So I mean, but I think most bass players, if they are looking at this, they're going to buy it just to add something so that they have it in the studio. So if they want a different kind of sound, they can just grab it. And the nice part is you don't have to spend a lot of money. Okay, another con here. These can be really hard to play. I don't like saying bad things in these things, but I gotta tell you, compared to an electric bass, like this is, it's damned uncomfortable. I'm sorry. Like, you know, the body's huge. Like, I'm a big guy, and even I'm finding this really awkward. And, like, I like bigger guitars. Like, one of my other guitars is a Firebird. I've heard people talking about the Firebird, how it's like playing a coffee table. This thing is huge. And the case and the bag that goes with it, like, it's really big, and it's really uncomfortable. Now, this one does need a setup. But I got to tell you, I went into the shops. I went into like a couple of the stores. I went to a couple of pawn shops because every pawn shop I seem to go to lately has one of these things. And I don't know, maybe there's just something about them where they're really hard to set up. But it takes some muscle to play this thing. I've been sitting here kind of messing around with this thing for the last half hour, kind of putting my thoughts together. I mean, this is kind of a rambling video, and I apologize, but, like, I was just trying to think of what I was going to say about this thing. And, yeah, I mean, I'm, like, look, that is a completely subjective thing. Maybe there's other people who they like, that's how they like to play, but for me, yeah, it's really big. It's kind of uncomfortable. But, again, I mean, to each their own. You know, that's just how it is. That's completely subjective. But yeah. Anyway, I don't have a whole lot else to say about it. I think I've said pretty much all there is to say that I have to say on this. They're not bad, just you need to know what you're getting into. They're not bad instruments. You just have to have a specific, I think for most bass players, you have to have a good idea of why you are buying this thing. And I think most bass players are going to look at this as just having another tool in the studio where they can get some different kind of sounds. It doesn't really work like in a live context or something. Like, yes, you can obviously use it. I think it's going to fit well into certain genres. Like, for some reason, whenever I see these things, I think, like, 90s kind of, like, Sister Hazel. I don't know. Maybe that's weird. Like, Sister Hazel or, like, Blues Traveler or something. Maybe Bare Naked Ladies. I don't know. But that's just me. I just think they fit into those styles of music a little bit better. But, hey, that's the beautiful thing about music. You know, you use what you want and, you know, you make something out of it. So, yeah. Anyway, I want to talk about these. They are very interesting. I do think they're worth having, especially since you can find them. They're pretty affordable, really, compared to a lot of musical instruments out there. I mean, hell, we all know that, right? Like, you know, you can a jazz bass. I think like a Mexican jazz bass or a precision bass right now, one of the Player series. I think they're like the made in Mexico ones. I think they're going for what is it like? I think they're like $1,200 Canadian or something like that. So if you're able to find one of these relatively affordable. By the way, there's nothing wrong with those, the made in Mexico models. Personally, I actually really like them. I do have a Japanese bass around here somewhere. Anyway, yeah. So that's my thoughts on the acoustic bass. Maybe take a look at it, try it out, see if it's for you. Just know what you're getting into. Anyway, this is Sandy's Guitars. I've talked too much already. Thanks for watching. If you like what we're doing here, please like and subscribe. Of course, you can always check me out. I've got Twitter. Now it's X, I guess. Got them behind the times. But I got X, I've got Facebook, I got Instagram, and I have TikTok. So please check me out on any of those social media sites. And yeah, like and subscribe if you like what we're up to here. This is Sandy's Guitars. Thanks for watching. Keep playing. Take care.